Hey guys, Dave here from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hanging out with, well, Ted. Hey. So we're going to do a GM 911 from Barry Zanone. And so basically he's a new GM, he's running a game, and from what it sounds like, his players are trying to pull a fast one.
It looks that way. They're trying to backstory in some magic items that he doesn't know about, and whether you're a DM, whether you're a player, that's just kind of bad.
Mate, short, sweet, and simple. That's bullshit. You don't get to do it. You're everything's up to your DM's approval, and trying to basically usurp the DM's control in the game is a good way to not have a DM anymore.
Right.
Or DM countermeasures, the fist of God, is going to have to smite you.
He says the player was ready and willing to walk out of the game because the DM's not going to allow magic items via backstory.
See,
and you don't want those kind of players in your game. I mean, they're offsetting to the balance of the game, and if you're playing 5th edition, everything is kind of controlled by that bounded accuracy. So it's like, if I'm a first level character and I've got a +1 magic item, that's seriously messing, even though it's only a 1 difference, that can seriously mess with the numbers, and the bigger that gets, the more of a problem it's going to be.
Yeah, this goes back to Dave's rule number 1, don't be a dick. And, those players are definitely trying to be a dick, or that player. And really, I would let them walk. It's nonsense. It's basically they're abusing the DM. There's so many ways of wrong for this one, and really this is not an in-game solution. This is an out-of-game solution. No, the DM sets the parameters of what the characters can have or can't have. You play within those parameters, or if you want different parameters, you run the game.
Right.
That again, our last GM 911 was like this too, and where players try to dictate to the GM what kind of game he's going to run. Right. No, if you're playing in my game, I'll tell you what kind of game I want to run, and then you decide if you want to play in it or not. Because I'm the one who's going to put forth all the work and the prep time. You're just going to show up.
Right.
So but this comes back to session 0. This comes back to setting player expectations, and it's fine if players have their own ideas of things. I'm open to hearing them, but a lot of times I go, "Hey guys, I'm interested in running this kind of game. Are you guys in?" And 9 out of 10 times, your players are like, "Sure, I'll play that game." Yeah, I just show up and get to have a good time and don't do any work. I'm in. But occasionally, you'll want to run a game and they won't be interested. I'll be like, "Hey guys, Mutants and Masterminds, Transformers, what's up?" And they're like, "Dave, you're gay," and I'm like,
"Hey, I was on board for the Transformers game."
Yeah, so Ted was the only one who was like, "All right, I'll play Transformers," and I'm like, "Yo, guys, why are you hating on the gays? They're cool, they can play too." But so there's always this thing of player expectations, DM expectations, meeting them, matching them up. And then again, it's like, don't be a jerk off at the table. We're all here to have fun. Yep. And it comes down to that mentality of people trying to win D&D. It's my favorite thing to talk about, I would say, because I just listened to the Happy Jacks RPG where they had an angry DM on there.
Nice.
Who always wins D&D. But yeah, I mean, we're here to have fun. Don't Why? Why are you going to sit there and write things into your character that aren't going to fly?
Yeah, it's one thing if you're like, "Hey, can I have, this little trinket type thing, and it does something, practically meaningless, is useless inside of combat." Okay, I'll allow something like that, if it really fits. Heck, one of the trinkets in 5th edition is a stone that's always warm to the touch. Okay, that sounds like it's a minor magic item. It'd be incredibly useful in a Arctic style game. But it's not useful in combat unless you're going to just chuck the darn thing. And it's going to do at best, what, a D3 or a D2 or just 1, whatever. So those kind of things I don't care about. I mean, they're interesting, but they don't change combat. And 5th edition is really tightly controlled about what they feel combat is going to be, how the rules of it work. And you can't just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to throw these handful of wands of fireball into my backstory and now I have them." It's like,
Yeah, like we're big on player agency and being like putting things in the game and stuff like that, but at a certain point, you're being a little ridiculous. And again, there's nothing else to say about this. Look, dude, you're getting hosed, all right, and just say no. And if the player wants to walk out, let him walk out. I mean,
you don't want that kind of grief at your table. As a new DM, you have to have the confidence to sometimes say that some players are just not right for your table. And if you're that player, just at ease and back off. Enjoy the game. It's much more than just a pile of rules and mechanics and adversaries to beat. It's a story. It's interactive and it's enjoyable for all, as long as you're following Dave's rule number 1. Don't be a dick.
Or very first encounter, rust monster, turn his sword to rust. Be like, I don't know what happened. I just had a rust monster in there. You had a magic sword. They're delicious. If you want to be like passive aggressive about it, but then that's going to only lead to the other problem. You're picking on me. Yeah, I am actually, because you're being a dick. So I don't know.
That was a family heirloom.
Yeah, you better get back to work, buddy. But you can put things in your backstory that you want to work towards, or you're trying to get, or unlock the power of. But yeah, blatantly like, I'm first level and I have a magic item because it says so on my backstory. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Guess what? I just wrote something into your backstory as well. It's because your house is just being eaten by a Tarrasque. Who knew one was sleeping under the manor?
So I'm not even gonna put it out there. If you guys want to comment, feel free. While you're doing that, feel free to click like, share, even subscribe.
Hang out with us over on Facebook.
So until next time, stay nerdy.